Congress urged to update the SSI asset limit from $2,000 up to $8,000. I'll let you know what that's all about. Also, we have the latest hearing when it comes to Congress and improving Social Security. I'll play you the video clip of that. If we go more in detail here, the asset limit Congress is urged to increase. It's been 34 years that it hasn't been increased from $2,000, which is very hard to live off of. So as you can see here, asset limit adjustment could allow those collecting SSI to save up to $8,000 or more. I can't believe this hasn't been changed a lot sooner. If you're on SSI, let us know down in the comments below. What is it like to live off of that much, just $2,000 in your bank account, which is crazy to think about. So let's go over that right now. If we look here, we could see that it's been $2,000 for the past since 1984. Which is older than me. So if we look here, according to Brown's office, the current SSI program punishes disabled and elderly Americans for working, saving for the future, and getting married. Under the current law, individuals receiving SSI benefits are limited to only $2,000 in assets. For married couples, it's $3,000. The average current monthly benefit is $585 for individuals. Basically, when it comes to assets, you can't have more than $2,000 in your bank account, which is crazy to think about. All it takes is one traumatic accident or life event, and that's it. Bank account gets wiped out, and then there's nothing else to it, so you can't even save. According to the Savings Penalty Elimination Act, it would raise those caps to $10,000 for individuals, or an increase of $8,000, and $20,000 for married couples. The caps would also be indexed to inflation moving forward, meaning that it'll increase over time and not require Congress to wait 30 years or more to have this change happen. So when the SSI program was created in 1972, policymakers set resource limits of $1,500 for individuals and $2,250 for couples, according to the CPP. That gradually rose to $2,000 for individuals, $3,000 for couples, which represented the only time in 50 plus years that the limits were changed. So they're trying to increase it more and more. Basically, it estimates that if resource limits had been indexed to inflation, they would be around $9,900 for individuals and $14,000 for couples if it was indexed to inflation. So that's the goal with this new bill, is that it is indexed to inflation so that it doesn't require Congress to have a new law to change it every few decades. It just changes with inflation, which is the way to do it. So speaking of SSI and Social Security Subcommittee hearing on 1 million claims and growing, improving Social Security's disability education process. So when it comes to the commission, we're going to hear from Mark Washarsky, Senior Fellow of the American Enterprise Institute, talking about what needs to be improved and changed for Social Security. So before I share that video, if you like these type of videos, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more of the latest Social Security updates. And this video is sponsored by my company, WiseSense. If you or anyone you know is looking to increase your credit score and remove negative items from your credit report, got my details down in the description below. And yeah, without further ado, take a look at the video right here.
Mr. Washarsky, you're now recognized.
Thank you, Chairman Ferguson, Ranking Member Pascrell, and members of the subcommittee. I am Mark Washarsky, a Senior Fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. From July 2017 through January 2021, I was Deputy Commissioner for Retirement and Disability Policy at Social Security, where I led the development of a revamp of the medical vocational roles for eligibility for disability benefits. I understand now is a very difficult time at the agency. No doubt there are many causes for this sudden and sharp deterioration in service and employee morale, and that these causes are both short-term and long-term in nature. But I want to focus today on a very important long-term solution to the service and resource problems at the agency. The currently needlessly complex and outdated rules and data that both claimants and the agency use to determine eligibility for disability benefits have to be simplified, modernized, and automated. And actually, a fully specified disability eligibility simplification and modernization proposal currently exists at the agency, waiting to be published. And really the question is, where is it? But first, let me give you just a bit of background to determine eligibility for disability benefits. SSA uses a 5-step evaluation process. The last 2 steps constitute the medical vocational rules, and they have not changed since 1978. They largely rely on job requirements data from the Dictionary of Occupational Titles, the DOT, which was created during the Great Depression and last partially updated by the Department of Labor in 1991 and not since. Among its 14,000 occupations, and I liked Mr. Camp's example, I have a few others, which are deemed to exist in significant numbers in the economy. The DOT has a phonograph cartridge assembler and a web press operator, print, but does not have a web designer. Furthermore, it has never included the mental requirements of work, an increasingly important factor in the modern work environment, as we've heard today. The regulation adopted in 1978 included a fairly prescriptive vocational grid for Step 5, which is outdated and largely inadequate. It is now used only in about 10% of Step 5 cases. For the rest, the rules are a framework, but they rely on a detailed and often very semi-informed analysis of job requirements and numbers of available jobs in the economy by SSA vocational specialists and vocational experts paid for by SSA. This adds time and it adds expense. These rules also dictate a difficult, expensive, and often inconsistent and arbitrary assessment of the ability to adjust or transition to new work at older ages. This also takes time and is very, very inefficient. The grid or the framework, it produces arbitrary and inequitable results, often related to age, and in my testimony I give some examples. There are particularly noticeable jumps in awards at age 50, which the regulations call closely approaching advanced age. Age 55, advanced age, and age 60, demarcations in the current regulations, giving considerable and increasing leniencies in eligibility standards. The natural increase in disability awards, according to objective definitions of disability, would be much more gradual with age without those rules. And there have been many changes in the American labor force since the 1970s that really do add weight to the case for reform. People are working longer, older people are working longer. There are a lot of new technologies and changes in the economy that reduce the physical aspects of jobs. There's a lot more part-time work than with substantial pay than there was in the past. This is not reflected at all in the current regulations. A modernized vocational database should replace the woefully out-of-date data currently in use. As we've heard, the Bureau of Labor Statistics and its team of nearly 200 field economists have produced in 2019 and 2020 a complete first wave of detailed occupational requirements, ORS information. Thus far, ORS has cost the SSA about $300 million, now roughly $42 million a year to run the survey, and we have not seen its use yet. With this new nationally representative data on work requirements, policymakers can make sensible policy changes to the programs. For example, if only entry-level work is considered as Step 5, the complex and time-consuming transferability of skills analysis performed at older ages can be omitted entirely, a significant simplification. Similarly, all this data would be housed in a public platform called the Vocational Informational Tool, the VIT, that combined with the streamlined new regulations would simplify and automate the vast majority of claims. When I left the agency in January 2021, this rule was ready to be published. We know that under current rules, some claimants are being inappropriately denied benefits and others are inappropriately being awarded benefits. This should not continue. Thank you for your invitation to speak, and I'm glad to answer your questions.
What are your thoughts on that video? Let me know down in the comments below. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
This is, I'm gonna live with it. Oh, never mind, sorry. This is the tip of the day. I'm gonna tell you one thing what you can feel. If you really want something, then be a survivor with some juice. Just kidding. Be a survivor and do whatever you want, because that when someone's here for you, you can always use some help. Anyways. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your support. If you're curious about the $2,700 checks going out to seniors, you're going to want to click this video right up here, as I'll go more in detail of which Social Security recipients are going to receive $2,700 for this month of December. So click that video now, and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.